Hello everyone. So today we are here to discuss about ACT engineering and about the contributions of Ma'am Farheen. So we'll start with this session right away. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Eman Ansari and I'm currently working as an intern at ACT Engineering in the Marketing and Media Department. And today we have Ma'am Farheen, who is currently at the designation of Chief Operating Officer at ACT Engineering. And being a woman, she has been serving in solar energy firm, and let's just talk about her contributions and whatever she has been doing for our community for Pakistan. So let's move
Hello.
forward. Hi, ma'am. My first question for you would be leading a solar company as a COO. I'm curious to know about your journey and what does it look like? How did you end up in the renewable energy sector?
So I'll start off with my education. I'm an IBM alumnus. I did my undergrad in 2016, and right after I started as an investment banker. I was the part of the deal that tried to materialize the privatization of national power parks. At that time, I did the financial modeling. We made a couple of pitch decks and everything like. But somehow in the inner side, I always felt the need that it's only about the numbers. The impact is nowhere to be seen in the real world. I'm only tweaking the financial models, turning nasty numbers into rosy ones, and making a very turnaround or a loss making entity quite looking quite beautiful on the screen only. At the same time, in 2019, that was about like where I was half through my journey, career journey of like I had been into the sector since last 3 years in the investment banking part. And then in 2019, I thought that let's just quit it and do something more interesting. At the same time, a very good opportunity from ACT Group came forward to me, and I became part of their senior financial resource for their wind farm. This was the second wind farm which was sponsored by IFC and DG collectively. It's a 50 megawatt project, part of Super 6. And while working through this, I have gone to the sites of Jhimpir, nearby villages, seen all the wind corridors, the actual potential, and what we have achieved so far. And this actually changed the whole perspective of mine. From right from IBA, we're always taught to get into the jobs and do something like the same thing for 9 to 5. But this development side of and the basically the renewables have opened a new perspective for me, and I thought that this is something that's really motivates me. And soon, in 2021, the same group offered me a very good opportunity, the C-suite position for their solar business, which was a loss-making entity. So I'll just take a back step and just introduce the company, what ACT stands for, and what ACT Engineering is. So ACT Group is basically a consortium of Akhtar Group, Candyland, and Tapal Energy. So we have couple of wind farms. We're also into the rice syrups and byproducts. We are also into the solar EPC business, for which I'm acting as a COO. So ACT Engineering is basically a solar EPC company. We do residential, industrial, and commercial sites on as an EPC contractors. We're also looking forward to enhance the pipelines by looking into the power purchase agreements, the deferred payments, and the energy renewable systems via carbon credit transactions. And there's a lot more to discuss about, but I'll just cut it short and tell you that I'm actually working somewhere where I always wanted to do. I wanted to make some difference, and which we are making either via numbers or via energy generation through solar.
That's great. And especially for like all the people who are here who are currently deciding about their career, I think this is going to be extremely helpful, like how to, even like discover ourselves and our interest in the future. So thank you so much, ma'am, for Heen. Let's move forward to another question that I have for you today. So I actually wanted to know that what actually motivated you to focus on solar energy specifically? And are there any personal or professional experiences that influenced this decision?
So I'll tell you the basic issues or the loophole in the Pakistan's economy is we are an import-led economy, and all the reasons that we are facing right now in the form of inflation, the PKR deval, the LC ban, and blah blah blah, are only because of one thing, that we are an import-led economy. Since the last 76 years, we have done nothing so far other than the textile exports, and which the results of which we are facing right now. Now, out of that, the import part, 80% of these imports are all petroleum and oil imports. So you see, if you displace only a 10% or a 20% of that portion to renewables, you can actually save billions and billions of dollars per annum, or maybe for the next couple of years. Now, out of all these renewable options in which hydro, wind, and solar appears, I chose solar, and I'll tell you the reasons why. If we see hydro, then that requires a lot of huge capital investments, the very upfront fixed cost, and this is something that is not very feasible at right now for Pakistan's economy. We have seen the repercussions of how the fundraising was done from Mohammed and Dimer Bhasha Dam. So this doesn't happen right like this. We need some strong developmental banks, DFIs, to come forward and invest in us, which I don't think that right now is possible. The other option is wind, which again is quite expensive compared to solar, and that also needs a very huge upfront cost. Together with this, I think that wind farms have already been installed at such a fast pace that we have a huge capacity for wind farms. In fact, the curtailments are now happening because on the supply side we have done so far. We have done at max at IPP levels. Now, the only portion that seems viable for the residential clients, because you see, if you see the users of energy in Pakistan, 60% of the usage is from residential side, and only 20 to 25% is for industrial, and the rest is gone to the T&D losses and the thefts. So if you plan on the demand side, because we can't control the supply side, because that's all import led economy, we don't use anything, we don't have any refineries available, we don't properly procure oil and refine it in our systems. So we have to manage on the demand side now. If we cut the elite sector of those residential portion and ask them to do their to deplug from the grid and install their own energy systems via solar, then that means that we'll be giving the access to the bottom of the pyramid residential sites as well. So those people, I'm not talking off the grid right now, I'm not talking about the rural and interior sides of Pakistan, I'm talking about the slum areas of the urban side of Pakistan where load shedding happens. And the reason for this is only demand side. We just can't manage a demand side. If we give the elite sector the leverage to deplug themselves from the grid, get their solar installed, make their decentralized energy possible, then that means that the 20% would now be served to the underprivileged areas where the grid is available but it's weak. So out of all these options, the capital side, seeing the fixed cost, seeing the maintenance side, I think that everybody in every house has rooftops. Other than the people who lives in apartments, people do have usually have their roofs available, and there is nothing better gift to the nature and to the country other than solar right now.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct because given the current times, I would say every person in Karachi in Pakistan is suffering due to the inflation and all the price hikes. So, solar is an initiative that can really help us out. Moving
See,
forward,
solar, I'll just
yeah.
add one thing. See, solar is a very long term picture. It used to be a very long term picture, but I'll cut it short that right now, with the grid inflation going on, everybody is screaming out of their lungs that my bills are going up and now we don't use that much. But that is the reality. You are importing oil, you are importing coal, you have to pay in dollars, you don't have the dollars. So, in any case, the end consumer has to bear all these burden. So if you see solar, then the payback of solar is around 3 years right now at this current EPC costing. If we assume a 20 to 40% grid hike that is expected in the coming years, because the economy of Pakistan is unstable right now. The IMF is here and here to stay with more and more stringent conditions up to come. So that means that the inevitable is has to come and the grid has to go up. So if we assume a 20 to 40% hike in the grid rate, then that payback of 3 years comes to 2 to 2.5 years, which is, I think, is a very good investment right now. You are importing something in dollar, you are getting a dollar hedged investment. It's like a car. So you are just saving your PKR into something dollar, which you can even sell at higher price 2 years or 3 years down the lane.
Yeah, the value is only gonna deteriorate.
Yeah.
So, okay, coming to my third question for you. As the COO, what are the key strategies you have implemented to drive growth and success of the company in the given competitive solar industry?
I'll be very honest here. People don't accept me as a COO. They just can't digest that a female can run an energy company. And it's not only the normal, the middle income households or middle income men who think that this lady cannot run the company. I have actually seen in the industry as well that people, in fact, my a lot of people, I won't name them, but they have said that this she won't be able to run the company and the company would be shut down. But this was a loss making entity, and I'm very proud to say that this company has been making losses since last 3 years. This year we did a turnaround. We closed in profitability. Our gross profit margins were 24%. Our net profit margins were around 10%. We did a 400% times increase in our revenues year on year basis, and this is something very huge for us. We did not only wipe out the accumulated carry forward losses but also turn in green, and we are also about to give dividends to the owners as well this year. So this is something a very good accomplishment from me. But I would say that it's not easy to work in such industry where there are very less female representation. Globally, even in energy sector, you see only 20% of the women contributing. In Pakistan, the scenario is even bad. Is even worse. Only 4% of the women represents the energy sector, the overall energy sector. So if you cut down and if you actually see the zoom in and come and see the renewable side, the situation is even worse. So but God has been very kind, and I think that this is something that is a very great achievement for me at this young age, turning around a company, bringing in profits for the owners of the company. The strategies that I have utilized so far is cost cutting. So in order to achieve profitability, you have to cut down on your costs. You have
What
to make sure at any point in time you have to cut down on your cost, and this has been the success so far for me.
I must say that you did a remarkable job. Like even when there's like such lack of trust around from people around you, you did a remarkable job. That's great. Something very motivating for me as well.
Thank you.
So, like, my next question is about the solar industry. Like, given the rapid advancements in technology and like whatever is going around in the world, especially AI and stuff like that, how do you stay updated on the latest trends and incorporate innovative technologies into your company's offerings?
So for me, the benchmarks are EPC companies that are operating in Australia and US. Obviously, we can't just replicate their entire standard codes, but I try to make sure that, because in energy, the data is the key. If you know the data, because the generation is happening every second, if you are updated with the data, you know the patterns, you know the seasonality, you can easily figure it out and even forecast that if a cloudy weather would come, so what would be the repercussions for for the specific plant. So my passion is also into data management, and I have hired a couple of resources specifically for these data visualization, data crunching, and to make specific patterns to announce and to make sure that we are stay updated with these numbers, and in case if any grid fault comes in, so we are already prepared beforehand. And I would say that this is not rocket science, this is only playing with the numbers, pure mathematics, nothing else.
Okay. And could you also elaborate on the social and environmental impact your firm aims to achieve through its solar projects? And like, are there any notable sustainable initiatives that you must have taken in your tenure at Act Engineering?
So we are aligned to the 11 SDG goals. The top of those are clean and environment, clean energy for all, the affordable energy for all, industrial innovation. So SDG 3, SDG 3, 7, and SDG 11 goals. So these are the top three prior goals that we are trying to achieve. Apart from this, I'm a very big advocate for women empowerment as well, and I feel that women needs the representation here in this sector as well. We represent half of the equation on this earth, and if you see, when it comes to the climate change mantra, we are nowhere to be seen. So if you see, you'll see very few ladies in the climate leadership positions, which is quite sad, and it's very evident in Pakistan as well. So I'm also part of GDEIB. We have won the GDEIB Inclusive Ranking Award for best practices. Our main goal is to, we have also pledged couple of promises as well. Our few pledges are to introduce women solar cleaners in our clientele, which is mainly textile sector. We also aim to increase the women workforce, which is quite 20% right now. We want to increase it to 40%. We're also aiming to introduce women vendors up to 40%. So right now we have zero women vendor, and we are aiming to, these are the goals for the next years. We are aiming to introduce 40% women entrepreneurs to our supply chain systems. And for this, we are trying to locate women who are into this solar field, who are cleaners, who are advocate data crunchers, who can design solar systems for us. So we are passionately looking for you. And if you come across our profile, please do get in touch with me or any of the representatives.
Sure, I'll do that. And like this is such a harsh reality that given the population division in Pakistan, and despite having such a great number of female population here, the opportunities are so less for women.
I think I think that it's not only the problem of the numbers; it's more about the trust issues as well. So women
Hmm.
want to do something. The female I know are very passionate, but the male counterparts need to come a step forward and act as a partner and facilitators rather than just the mockers and somebody who will just make fun of. So I have been given the chance by my directors. Those are all male dominated directors. They given me the chance, and I approve them. So I think that we need such kind of men in our society.
Yeah. So, like, as a female leader in the renewable energy industry, have you ever encountered unique challenges or opportunities related to diversity and inclusion?
Obviously, when I'll tell you a couple of stories. So the procurement that happens, our main raw material is in the form of structures, the aluminium, the iron gauge frames and all. So I have to go to the Saria market and the steel market for getting the exact rates. And when I go there, people are just like shocked. They just don't comprehend that. They think that I'm a student, I'm here for my research, and I want some numbers. When I tell them that no, I need this amount of iron, I need this amount of aluminium, so they are quite shocked. They don't actually digest the fact that I can also handle a solar EPC company. So this was my biggest shock when I went to these markets. And yeah, whenever you go to the formal meetings, you go to the formal seminars as well. So the shocks are mixed, and they do come often. I'm quite used to it right now.
Okay. So, like, what is ACT Engineering doing that makes it different from other solar firms in Karachi?
We are doing nothing that makes us a what. So there are couple of like more than 10 or 15 renowned solar EPC companies that are being operating in Pakistan, not Pakistan, in Karachi. And we are not doing anything different, because I'll tell you why. If somebody says that they are doing things very differently, that's the biggest bullshit you will hear. And no, solar cannot make your bills to zero. So that is another lie that
Reality
most
check.
of the this is also another reality check. We are importing 70% of our project cost. So panels are being manufactured by Chinese OEM, inverters are being manufactured by solar Chinese OEM. We are only the service providers. We only assemble all the parts that are imported, the cables, the structure, the panels, and the inverters. We just assemble them up and we just install it. So there might be couple of some difference you find in the dressing of the cables, maybe the cable layouts, or maybe the placement of the inverters, but that's not a very different thing that I would be boasting here. We do things very very smoothly and very neatly. We make as built drawings properly and then place things uh, the, accordingly. But I think that's a very standard thing. I don't think so that it is something a benchmark. If some company is not doing that, then they should be doing this, because that's a very basic thing that you'll be doing. So the thing that we are differently doing is the after sales. I know a lot of EPC companies that open at every nook and corner, and right now they are nowhere to be seen because they have just placed the systems. And when the customer, the clients are asking for the after sales support, they are nowhere to be seen because their main aim was not the service. Their main aim was sale, and they have done that, and now they are nowhere to be seen. So we actually represent three respectable groups of Pakistan. We just can't run away or just hide our faces. We have to face the client. We have done couple of O&M at our sites, at our clients. We have actually seen a short circuit at the site and have completely revamped and replaced all the material and equipment over there. That was a force majeure, but we did that. So making uh, satisfying your clients after the sales service is what makes us apart.
I see, and I think that is very important in order to retain your customer. If you're willing to like make your customer loyal to your firm, you have to give some after sales services.
Yeah,
All right, so
absolutely. When the
yeah, go
LC
ahead.
ban happened, when the LC ban happened, the customers and the solar competitor companies were running after each and every client. They were asking कि जी हमें भी काम दे दे, हमें भी काम दे दे. But we were the ones who were getting work by clients themselves. So the client would always come to us, whether it's a small client or a big client. If they are going for an extension, they won't go anywhere other than us. They might take quotes from other companies, but when it comes to the installations, they won't go to anywhere other than us.
This is what trust brings you in return, that the customer is always coming back to you. Okay, my next question is like it's about your career. So, over the course of your career, what are some valuable lessons that you have learned that you believe would be beneficial for aspiring professionals in the renewable energy sector?
I have been into the corporate world since last 8 years, and I was into the banking initially, and then came to the private equity and family office type. So I have reported under IBA grads as well, and now I'm managing a team who are recent grads as well. So what I have seen, and I'll advise you, no matter what happens, always remain kind and humble. The intellect, the intelligence, the smartness can take you to some miles, can take you, give you might jumps. But if you are kind, if you are humble, then that would take you for a lifelong time, and it's a lifelong journey. So your kindness and humbleness would be remembered forever, no matter if you're working here or you're going abroad. If you are kind and humble to your colleagues, to the subordinates, to the peons as well, so you will be remembered in good names. And this is what I think the education teaches us. Making money can come later. It is important. I'm not saying that it's not important, but remaining kind and being humble is something very basic, and this should be inbuilt in every IBA grad. That I would actually want to see every IBA grad humble and kind, because this is something that will remain with you for a long time.
That's a lovely thought, and I hope that people actually take this from this session because kindness, it, in the end of the day, it's all about your behavior, the way you act with people around you. So,
Because you
my
see,
last question, go ahead,
because
go ahead.
you see right now everybody is in anxiety, is into depression. Either way, it's, is it about their masters, is it about their PR journeys, is it about their family or their interpersonal relationships, is it about their spouses? Everyone is going through some or the other problems. What you can do to their lives, to their day, to make their day, is remaining kind. You, and this is actually an art. You have to channelize your anger, your feelings in a way, in a proper way, that your anger, your frustration should not become nobody else should become a recipient of your frustration, of what is going inside your house and outside your house, inside your company and outside your company.
That's true because like we can never imagine what a person, what a layman even is going through during such testing times when a recession is going on and the country has to face some serious consequences. All right,
Yeah.
so my last question for you would be like about the future. Looking ahead, what do you see as the biggest opportunities and challenges for the solar industry in the next few years? And how is your company positioned to address these?
I'll start with the opportunity. So, in Pakistan right now, if there is any business case that is viable, that is solar. I'm not saying
And
the food and the staples are obviously food staples and healthcare are the necessities of life. But if you speak about the luxuries, or maybe the if you come to one step ahead in the Maslow's hierarchy, then electricity is another necessity, and it is becoming quite unaffordable right now. So solar is the next big thing. And with net metering, I'm sure that most of the audience here would be knowing about net metering benefits as well. So it's an additional revenue for you. You are just investing something and getting rent out of this. So it's similar to like renting a house. You're putting your money in a house and you're taking the revenues, cash flows every month. So this is something like that. The challenge, I would say, are many, but I think that vertical wind turbines are the next big thing that would give a very hard time to solar as well. If the people who are listening right now don't know this, just Google the vertical wind turbines. These are very compact, small wind turbines specifically made for households to be placed on their rooftops. And considering Pakistan having so much good wind pressures, I think that
Mhm.
this is the next big thing that can happen to Pakistan.
All right. So, would you like to say something in the end for in this session, like for everyone who's watching us? Any thoughts, any advices?
I think that it's very easy to say that follow your passion, but it's very hard to discover it. You have to go through, you have to make some bad choices in order to achieve what's best for you, because you just can't figure out good from the bad if you haven't gone through the bad choices. This is very relative and true for your career. This is very relative when you are choosing your partners. This is also very true when it comes to choosing your master's program. So do the keep exploring. The good choices would definitely come to you, but you have to run faster. You just can't be lame and sitting and just idle and things can't come to you. You have to chase them, and those who chase are the ones who lead the way.
Yeah. Fine, got it. So, like, I'm very thankful for to everyone who was watching us, and I hope this session must have helped you in some way or the other. You can always connect with me and Ma'am Farheen on LinkedIn, and you can always come and visit our office as well and join us in to see what we are doing for solar energy in Pakistan and what initiatives we are taking, especially for women, as Ma'am Farheen mentioned. Thank you so much for your time. I hope everyone had a great time. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.